I'll go as quick as I can. I wrote a few notes. Yeah, you're newly, maybe now, coming up on 3 months on the job, governor appointee to the Hidalgo County RMA. More frequently known by several of y'all as the local conito maker or hamburger flipper, which is what I have happened to have the privilege to do over the last nearly 40 years. Wasn't born in the Rio Grande Valley, neither my wife or I were, but we were from the ranch lands just an hour or so up from here, Duval County, the Fremont, Calafurias area. We got down here almost 40 years ago. Blessed with the opportunity to come and be part of what's transpiring in the Rio Grande Valley right now, and to watch it evolve and be a part of it. And I tell you, what a blessing. We are involved. I say a local conito, for those of you who don't know. That's affectionately known as ice cream cones in our Spanish language, but most of y'all know. We own and operate the local Dairy Queen. Started with one together with our family. We have many of them throughout the state. Most of the ones here in the valley, my wife is fond of saying that we own the ones. They say, do you own that one? And she says, only if it's a good one. But then we got involved in the Slosky business. But I only say that to say this. You know, Alex touched on what transportation is about. And when I was asked to do this, not only did I say no to begin with, because I felt like having done a tour through the Valley Partnership as the chair or president, whatever we would call it at the time, which we did, or economic development here in McAllen, or chamber president at FAR, or whatever it was, we felt that we had done our part, both myself and my wife, in giving back to the community that's been so good to us. And when they said, you know, chair of the RMA, transportation, I said, I know little to nothing about transportation. And I was quickly reminded, and I think it's a great fit. And the reminder was what Alex said early on in his talk, and that is that transportation, you know, we think about it as roads, but really it's economic development. It's an opportunity for a local family to sell a few bonitos, flip a few burgers, have a business flourish, and impact literally hundreds, if not thousands of lives, which we have had the privilege to do over the last, like I said, nearly 40 years. So I'm privileged to get to sit here and take my turn and give back in this way as the Hidalgo County RMA. Just to be real quick, let me say this, because Alex, he hit on a lot of the topics that I had thought of to mention, but when you talk, I want to go to his topic number 5, which is about working together. That's what I quickly realized. You know, I was telling somebody earlier, I think Dr. Bailey, and again, we're so blessed to have him and so many people in our community doing what we're doing, and just looking around, it's phenomenal what's happening in our community. But I was mentioning the fact that real early on from my mentor, I got some advice, and the advice was 2 things. He said, don't mess with the help. Pretty good advice. And he said, don't get your business involved in politics. And I also thought that was pretty good advice, and we set out to pretty much live that way. We gave back, we were involved in different ways, but, you know, thank you to each of y'all that are serving your communities and the legislatures or the positions that you're in, where it's a position where that's the way you give back. And it is politics. You know, I came to the RMA and quickly realized that really, I didn't give it enough thought. I had said no, but then I said I would pray about it. I would talk to my family about it, which we did. But I really didn't consider the amount of, quote, politics involved. But you know what? Let's not look at that as a bad thing. It's normal and natural and good, actually, that each of y'all are representing the areas you represent, and that the local mayors are saying, hey, I need for McAllen, or that our city manager, thank you, Isaac, and the great job that you're doing and your staff are doing here in McAllen as leaders. But it's a good thing that they're saying, I need for my community, because they're saying, I need for my constituency, my people. But at the RMA is known as Hidalgo County RMA. And maybe you know, maybe you don't know. I didn't. You know, I've been in the community for years. I've done all of these kinds of different things, but I had no idea what a regional mobility authority is. And I think a lot of us are still maybe even a little confused about what it is. But let me tell you, I'm learning, I'm picking it up pretty quick, and I'm understanding that yes, it's a lot of, there's politics involved, but the politics of it is people in communities pulling for their part of the community, which is normal and is natural, and understanding, and thank goodness that they are. The way that we come together to work with those communities, to recognize that, you know, we are not competing against one another, but yet are looking and need to be looked at as a whole entire region that we are. You know, there's a move afoot right now to be talking about the Rio Grande Valley and northern Mexico and what are we going to call ourselves, and the idea of maybe Rioplex, so that people understand, like the Borderplex, that we're in this region with unlimited potential. And the potential starts with the people from our community. The people that are being graduated through our local schools and through our universities is just, I know you see it every day, Dr. Bailey, it's phenomenal, and more exciting things happening every day. But you know, those people need to be safe. They need to be moving through the highways and byways of our communities. They need to be able to come from the more rural areas into the more metro areas and do it in a safe way. And I'm learning very quickly that it's incumbent upon us. It's extremely important for us to sit down as an entity that we are and work with our local communities, work with Hidalgo, Cameron County RMA, work under the auspices of the RGV MPO. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? I don't know, those of you who know that aren't from here don't know, but at one time, you know, an MPO, a Metropolitan Planning Organization, organizations with, 50,000 or more get the designation, a special designation, and we had 3 of them. But back when I was with Bill Summers at the RGV Partnership, even way back then, years and years ago, there was a dream, there was a vision that we would come together and have one MPO that we would, and guess what? RGV MPO now, one MPO. Just like that we would come together and have one university, UT RGV. What a beautiful ring that has across the whole entire valley, because we know what that's doing by getting ourselves to come together. So my message today, independent of what I may have written down, is item number 5, is appealing to each of y'all and the influence that you may have to recognize the needs that we have right here in the valley. I hope you've been witness to over these last few days. I hope you enjoyed yourself. A lot of good things to see, but also see the growth. What a wonderful thing that's going on in our community. Yes, our state, entire state, growing like Alex said, but right here in the Rio Grande Valley, kind of leading that growth, and that's just phenomenal. But that growth requires good, safe transportation. And when we're talking about safe transportation, the businesses that are here, those that are looking for ways to stay off the main roads where you and I travel every day, those overweight corridors, I'm learning all about that, where businesses are saying, hey, I've got really heavy trucks, I need to move, I need to be able to move from the port of Brownsville or the port of Arlington all the way to the bridge at FAR, Reynosa, or the Anzaluas Bridge. We need support and we need funding. We need to get ourselves together and make plans so that we can have ability for our folks to travel, our businesses to travel east to west or west to east, north and south. That's a must. And when we're talking about transportation, not only safety for the amount of people, get the heavy trucks onto those overweight corridors, but you gotta have them. I mean, there's literally a section, 13-mile section in Cameron County where businesses that are shipping things from the port of Harlingen trying to get to the bridge in Far can't come because there's no overweight corridor. Well, you know what? That's where we have to come in and see what are those needs? What are the needs that are ranked, and not be, hey, here or there. Let's come together in what is the most important area. Whether it's those overweight corridors, or whether it's a second causeway to South Padre Island. Even though I represent the Hidalgo County, I get in trouble for saying this, but I represent the Hidalgo County RMA, but of course I'm going to sit down with our counterparts at the Cameron County RMA and work under the guidance of the Rio Grande Valley MPO. And if a second causeway is the #1 need for safety reasons in our community, well, let's get it done so we can move on to the next one. And that's what it's going to take. That's the commitment that I'm bringing to. I want to be able to tell you that it's not politics from the sense that we're pulling against each other. It's politics to try to help ourselves come to the table and say, look, what a wonderful tool. I don't know if you know this, I didn't know this, but an RMA is the Regional Mobility Authority. There's a couple handfuls in the whole entire state of Texas. We're fortunate to have an RMA here. What specifically it is, the special legislative powers that an RMA has are unique to an RMA. It's a tool to be able to sit with all the local governments so that we get our act together, and when we approach TxDOT and our Transportation Commissioner, Mr. Alex Mead, we're all in it together and we all have one unified voice. So that's what the RGV RMA is all about, and that's our mission and what we're headed trying to do. Thank you all for being interested and taking time to come here and learn about the Valley and the opportunities we have here. Please continue to listen and lend an ear this way and help us and support us. Thank you.